Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things I have learned as I have grown into the person that I am today. And I announced on my video yesterday that if you guys put comments or questions that you wanted me to respond to in the comment section, that I was going to try and make my videos from those comments or those questions. And I got a lot of people that said that they were really excited about that, but I didn't get really a lot of comments or questions on my video yesterday, which in all honesty, I have to tell you, I didn't really expect to get tons yesterday. I thought I might get one or two, but I didn't think that I would get tons. So that's fine. We'll figure it out. I can come up with my own stuff if I don't get questions or comments, and that's kind of what I'm going to do today a little bit. And like I said, I am not going to, unless somebody puts in the comment, like you can say my name or whatever, I'm not going to say people's names over here. The comments are still up there. You guys can go see them. But I just don't want somebody to feel like they're, called out on video and things like that. So I was reading through the comments today on the video to kind of get an idea for something to make in today's video. And somebody that is very active on most of my channels and leaves comments on my vlog every single day and on my other channels and leaves very, very sweet comments and is always, sending well wishes to Alex and Boo Radley and stuff like that, and just very sweet person, shared in the comment section that they were dealing with the possible passing of one of their senior dogs. And my heart just immediately sank. We had just gotten back from going to the vet this morning with Boo Radley for a semi-annual checkup. He just had to get some blood work done and things like that. He's fine. He's actually inside and completely passed out in bed. Every time we take him to the vet, it's just like the rest of the day, he is gone. Like, it's like it takes everything out of him. The little guy has so much anxiety when he goes to the vet. And so, and we love our vet, and she's so nice and everything, but he's just so exhausted and so tired, from the car ride, and then coming, home after that, he just like completely, he goes potty, and then he didn't even eat his treats today. He was just like standing there, and he was like so tired, about to fall asleep. His eyes kept on like closing on the way home and stuff. And so I picked him up and I put him over in his little bed in the corner of our living room, and I said, just lay down, and he just like sunk down and fell asleep. He's been sleeping there since I've been filming videos and stuff. And Alex is on his way home right now, and so anyway, whenever we go to the vet, it reminds me of all the medical issues that we had with our Chihuahua Pee-Pee, and the medical issues that we had with Tucker towards the end, and things like that. And I'm reminded of that, and when we were in the vet today, there was somebody that had a 12-week-old golden retriever. He was beautiful. And so we were talking to them and stuff like that when they took Boo back to get his blood work done. And we were talking to them about how old he was and stuff, and Boo Radley still acts like a puppy, like he runs around, and most days, I'd say, he has some tough days where he's fatigued and he's tired, but most days, he's pretty active and he runs around, and when he goes outside, he'll run around, and then he sleeps for an hour or two, and then he runs around, and he's pretty active and he acts like a puppy. And it makes me so happy because he's 14 years old. And, he is the oldest dog that we've had together. And so I think, with the other dogs having been gone down, it's kind of like the end of an era with the three of them all together. I'm constantly thinking about, well, what if Boo gets sick? Or what if, Boo's gone tomorrow? Or what will it be like? And, ever since I've been on YouTube, we've had them, and now just Boo, and he just like watches me make videos, and he'll sit on the stairs or he'll walk around, and it's just like he's my little partner, he's my little assistant during the day and stuff. He's my best friend, and I honestly don't know what I would do without him. I don't know what I will do without him, but it is something that, having lost two dogs in the last couple years, I think about on a regular basis. I actually just made a video about this on my Peter Does Stuff channel not too long ago. And I was talking about grieving, pets and things like that. And because the YouTuber Adam McIntyre had just, his cat Milo had just passed away. And so I was making a video kind of talking about some things. I think when I talk a lot about grieving over here. And so I wanted to do this video kind of for the person that left the comment, because she's always been so kind to me, and just some things that people have said to me through the years that have been helpful to me, or things I've heard. First of all, I think the thing when you have a senior dog is that you know that the day is going to come. You know that, right? Like, people don't live to be 150. Dogs don't live to be 40. Like, they just don't. And I remember when Pee-Pee was diagnosed with heart disease, and I looked at our vet, who I absolutely adore. She was so funny today. She had her hair up. And I go, look at you with your fancy hairdo. And she goes, no, I haven't washed it in 2 days, so I have it up today. But anyway, so she's, you know, so sweet. I remember when, you know, I was sitting there talking to her, and she told us, you know, that Pee-Pee had heart disease. And I looked at her and I said, how long do you think that he has? And I think at the time she said 1.5 years. She later told us she didn't think that he would make it 1.5 years, but she was being hopeful. You know, she was like, he made it so much longer than I ever thought that he would with heart disease. He had, you know, kind of like late stage heart disease. And so I said, I just, like, immediately when she said 1.5 years, I just started bawling, like I lost it, right? And she looked at me and she said, Peter, dogs don't live to be 45, you know? Or she said, you know, something like that. And I said, you could have told me he'd live another 20. I can't remember exactly how the conversation went, but I said something like, you could have told me he'd live another 20 years and I'd still lose it. You know, like, I think just the processing and the visualization and the idea of losing a pet is so hard for us. I think the relationship that we have with our pets, of one of unconditional love and kindness, and their dependence on us, and coming home and them being there, and like my day is spent at home. You know, Boo Radley is really the only person that I run into all day long, you know, other than until Alex gets home at night. It's so hard, you know, and I remember after Pee-Pee passed away and we were in Mexico, and, you know, the way that Alex was, like, grieving was, like, people were sending so many kind messages and stuff like that, and he was reading them. He was looking at pictures of Pee-Pee and watching videos and things. I, like, went to YouTube, and I was looking up all these people's stories of, I'm a firm believer in an afterlife, and if I'm proven wrong at the end of my life, I guess, well, what did it hurt by believing in it, you know? But I am a firm believer in an afterlife. I've had dreams of, you know, my mom and where she is, and I've had dreams of Pee-Pee and Tucker being there with her and things like that. And I believe in those dreams, and they bring me, you know, serenity and solace and peace. And so I think I needed some kind of, like, affirmation about the afterlife of pets. And so I started, like, watching all of these YouTube videos about, like, what happens when dogs die, or what happens when cats die and pets die and things like that. And the majority of them were from vets. I couldn't believe it, from, you know, veterinarians. And I'll never forget, this one woman said, it made me really conceptualize pain with pets, you know, and from my experience, dogs, pain with dogs. Because if there's one thing that I wish, it's that dogs could speak so they could let us know when they're in pain. Because there's been many instances, you know, in all 3 of our dogs when they've been sick or they're lethargic, and I know something's wrong, or Alex knows something wrong, but we don't know what it is, right? Because the dog can't tell you what it is. And I remember listening to this one vet, and she was talking about, like, you know, if or when you have to, like, you know, put a dog down, that, or a cat down, or whatever, that animals don't have any, that we're aware of, don't have any concept of life or death. But they do have a concept of pain. And they just don't want to feel pain anymore. And she said in there that, you know, one of the greatest things that you can do for your pet is relieve them of the pain. Like, if they don't want to feel any pain anymore. You know, and I thought that was a decision that we were going to have to make. You know, it didn't end up happening that way, you know. But I was so worried about it, and I remember talking to a friend of mine, because just the whole thing, you know, was, like, so overwhelming. Like, this was, like, at the beginning of when we found out that Pee-Pee had heart disease, and I had this conversation with my friend, and I said, you know, he seems so good now, but, like, when he starts going downhill, I mean, this was, like, 1.5 years before he passed away, right? And I said, I just don't know what to do. And this was a friend of mine that's, like, very involved in dog stuff, and she's had a lot of dogs and cats and things like that. And she said, I'll tell you one thing I learned was, do it a week before rather than a week late. Because to sit and watch your pet suffer because you were so selfish that you wanted to hold on as long as you could, she goes, is one of the most painful things once the pet is gone. Because you know that you could have relieve them of that pain sooner, but selfishly you didn't want them to leave because you love them so much, so you held on. And she was like, and dogs and cats don't really know that they're not coming back. I think that whole idea for me in grieving, especially Pee-Pee, the grieving of Tucker and Pee-Pee was so completely different because Tucker happened so fast. Pee-Pee, like, we prepared for it for a long time, and then he just, like, kind of gradually got really bad at the end. So it was different, but, like, with, I think with both of them, you know, like, to know that, I mean, we say this about people, right? Well, they're not suffering anymore, they're in a better place, but, like, for pets, like, they really don't know, like, in those final moments that they're not going to come back, that they're not going to see us again, and I believe they will see us again. You know, I'm getting, you know, we talk about the rainbow bridge. That thing I feel like is so cliched. I mean, when people say it, I think it's so nice and stuff like that. I really do. But I feel like it's so kind of cliche at this time. But I do believe that we'd see our pets again. I think they're one of the first things that we see when we go to the other side. That's what I believe. And like I said, prove me wrong when we're gone from here, you know? I remember when Pee-Pee passed away, my friend Tanya and I were talking about, you know, Alex is not a believer in soulmates. He's like, I think that we both met at a certain time and place and decided to spend our life together and we've made an amazing life. But no, he's like, I don't believe that in some, like, spiritual soulmate, you know? And then I remember watching this video about afterlife experience, after-death experience, where this guy's talking about your soulmates are actually on the other side, and who you meet here is practice for being with that soulmate. And I remember talking to my friend Tanya, you know, that she owns a dog kennel, and she said, we were just driving together one night, and she said, I think Pee-Pee was your soulmate. And I was like, what? And she was like, you guys just had such a bond, such a connection. She was like, I think Pee-Pee was your soulmate. And I've said this forever, you know, Pee-Pee was a gift that Alex's ex-boyfriend gave him for a birthday. It was the greatest gift he could have ever given me, you know, like, by him giving Alex that dog. I mean, it was the best friend I've ever had. And it's funny because I had such different relationships. When people say that dogs don't have personalities or souls, and cats for that matter as well. I'm not a cat person, but I do see personalities and you know, things in cats. Cats aren't my thing, dogs are my thing. But I have had enough friends that have cats and things like that I witness, like, extreme different personalities between cats. I think it's very similar, you know? And the thing is that if you have 3 dogs, what you realize is every dog is different. Their likes, their interests are different. Their patience is different. Their need for attention is different. You know, all of that is different. Each dog is different. And each relationship that I've had with each of the dogs is different. Pee-Pee was definitely, like, my best friend. Tucker was more of, like, my child. And Boo Radley is definitely, like, my baby. That has turned into my best friend because he and I spend so much time together. But each relationship has been so completely different, you know? I was always very careful and doting on Tucker. Boo Radley always kind of seemed to be able to take care of himself, you know? And now that he's here alone and just the two of us, we've become such good friends. But, you know, at night when I'm cuddling up next to him, he's my baby. I don't think that we talk enough about grieving pets in our world. I don't think we talk about the impact of, you know, of grieving pets. I try to check in with my friends when they've lost a pet because I know for me it was so hard. One of the things that was so helpful for me was that months after Pee-Pee passed away, people were still sending, like, artwork, fan art, I guess, of Pee-Pee, of, like, paintings and drawings, of which we have most of it up in the house. And it was just such a nice reminder, you know? I remember somebody sent a little plaque for Tucker, you know, for the backyard and stuff like that. And people sent other things for Tucker. And it just was like, just to know, to keep that memory alive, you know? And it's why I still try to keep in touch, you know, or keep calling my friends, you know, like, weeks after. So, because I know what it's like, you know, like, months after I was still affected. And so I think with people, we check in and, you know, a year or two later, we're like, how are you doing since your mom's passed away and stuff like that. But with dogs and cats, it's like we think people immediately get over it. I grieved devastatingly hard over the loss of my 2 dogs. And I don't wish that on anybody, you know. I also think that with great love comes great loss. My husband is not entirely sure. This is something I didn't talk about on video for a long time, but I've started talking about it on video. My husband is not entirely sure that he wants to get another dog. He's completely supportive of me getting another dog, and he said, you can have another dog, and I'll help take care of it. I'll love it. I'll feed it. I'll take it to the vet and all that kind of stuff, but that will be your dog. Because the emotional attachment, he is not sure is worth the pain that you go through. He, like, we talk about Tucker and Pee-Pee, and he, like, especially, like, Tucker, because it just, you know, it happened out of the blue. he just is like immediately like tearful and bawling. And Pee Pee was like his thing. Like, I mean, Pee Pee was like the first dog that he had ever had that was his own. And so, I mean, he, to this day, like, he has this one video that he put together, a collection of videos and pictures of Pee Pee that he put to a Rufus Du Sol song called Treat You Better. And, like, he'll play that video. I mean, I'll just look over at him and he's just, like, bawling, you know? I don't think we give him as much honor to the grieving of our pets that we probably should. When I look back on my 51 years of my life, and I look back on how much I've been impacted in my life by people, things, experiences, places, whatever, the pets I've had in my life have so deeply and greatly impacted my life in a positive way. Taught me things, taught me kindness, taught me patience, taught me to rest and be peaceful, taught me laughter, you know, and taught me how to grieve. And I'm thankful for that. I wish they lived forever. They don't. None of us do. So for that person out there that's going through this right now, for anybody that's going through this right now or has recently gone through this, I just want you to know my heart goes out to you. I'm praying for you. I'm sending you positivity. Don't ever forget. Let them stay alive forever in your heart. Let them stay forever alive in your heart. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.